this is what we're looking at, road closures. Notice that this is Coachella Valley, and we're coming up here. Does that look like San Bernardino? Where are we at?
Yeah, that's it. You can
Notice
see
this
the
is Cajon
5
Pass.
going in that direction, the 15 going, or the 215 going.
Now there's the I-10,
Yeah.
here's the 215, 15. You know, after 12 days, that's still red? Did you know after 140 days, it's still red? Think about all the food and materials that come into the Los Angeles port into Long Beach, and they use Cajon Pass and Banning Pass to take it out by rail or truck. That's the way it goes to the rest of the United States. So we're cutting the community. We're really hurting the rest of the United States. Here is the real problem. When we have earthquakes, this is when the police department and the fire department get overwhelmed, right? So we've got a lot of problems with fires that are happening with gas or broken lines because of all these other things that are going on, traffic problems and saturated communications, and we don't have any water in the lines to be able to work with. Fires get out of control real quick. And the firemen are busy. They don't have time to do like your priority calls. They're not going to do it. They have to put out the fires.
Just like the old fire.
Yeah. And in 1906, we lost about 3,000 people. In 1923, there was like 30,000 people died from fires in that one earthquake. And we're looking at 1,600 fires estimated in this region on the San Andreas Fault, going right through San Bernardino. And we know the fire department's going to be busy. All the broken gas lines and power lines that fall down and just ignitions, it's fire territory here. We don't take much to start a fire. And you put all that together. Now what can we do about it? What we do is going to determine what happens to us. So the more that we can do at every level, you know, individuals, you as an individual, your neighborhood, you've got a community group here. In 2005, I think I went to the prayer breakfast at the Mayor of Redlands, and they had the fire department there, and they said they were going to create something called a community emergency response team, and they were going to train the entire city. So that fall I went and I registered so I could participate. And you know, the fool that I was, I went through weekend after weekend of learning training. I had to crawl on the floor in the dark to be able to find bodies, and you know, no flashlight. You know, I'm crawling into, because I'm supposed to be able to go around my neighborhood, go from house to house to house to identify who's okay, who's not. And this is part of a national program, a community emergency response team training. Now that lady that stood up here and talked about market night to begin with, she said that they're going to have a CERT training here in the next week or so in San Bernardino, right here. So I would encourage you to become familiar with CERT. Yes, sir.
Our fire department, they currently put on the CERT training. I think it's 7 weeks long. How long was the training?
Ours was 3 weekends. I mean, from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was
3 weekends.
one day on the weekend, but yeah.
We're
it's
dedicated.
in our fire department. I could send an email out to you guys regarding that.
Yeah, that would be good.
Please do.
Yeah.
And it is very worthwhile. Now, what I did with that is I went to my next door neighbors. We have a little court. We all have all of our phone numbers. And we talked to each other a lot. And we went into the house and we talked about, well, what do we do? Well, here's something called San Bernardino County Family Disaster Guide. You know, these are available from the fire department. And, you know, you can print these out. And it's got evacuation tips. And we've got 3 steps to creating a family disaster plan. And oh my goodness, there's second steps, creating a family disaster plan, prepare the family. All kinds of color things you could do. Not only there, I didn't get to go to kindergarten, so I like color. American Red Cross, ever hear of those folks?
Yeah, I used to volunteer for them.
Okay, I've gone and taken their training. I have every one of my students registered for Shakeout, which I'm going to invite you to do. And I have them go online. See, I'm really hard on them. I want them to get an evacuation checklist. They have to give it to me to prove that they got it. And that means they have to play with the computer. And that's as easy with this age group. But they have preparing your home, and this is their earthquake checklist. They have one for tornadoes too. I mean, this last few weeks, and it's been kind of bad in Oklahoma and Joplin and so on, but hurricanes. But they go through and they talk about sanitation and for the baby and the elderly. You know, things that, you know, when I went to the CERT training, they were saying, you know, do you have medicine in your car because you're not going to get home for 2 days? Oh, do you have cash? I'm not talking about that ATM stuff, you know, the 20s. Because if you're thirsty and you need some water and you're walking home, do you want to give them the 20? No. CERT training said that you probably want to have something in your car, your vehicle that you're traveling with, like these, ones. So you know, that was a good practical thing to learn. So I keep about I have $100 worth of ones in my vehicle. I'm not cheap. It's taken me a while, over 4 years after that training, to build up to 100. I couldn't do that the first week.